Hello there, all you lovely pregnant Enjoy Mamas. It is Rosanna here, otherwise known as Rosie. I am the founder of Enjoy Yoga, and once upon a time I used to teach all of the classes for Enjoy, including all the pregnancy yoga classes. I know many of you have not met me, but I do still run the birth preparation workshop and the postnatal realignment workshop, and I often cover the the baby yoga classes when Lucy's away. I just wanted to give you 5 reasons why it's really important to consider attending our birth preparation workshop. And obviously, if you've got all this covered, fine, but usually I find that this isn't the case. And one thing is that many of us feel we are prepared in our heads, and that is that we have maybe gone to birth preparation classes like NCT or private, parent preparation classes, if you like. Maybe we've gone to the hospital birth prep and, we've learned about the hospital we're going to be going to and the birthing centre that we might be using. But this tends to be more head knowledge, okay? And head knowledge is wonderful for kind of appeasing anxiety, but it's the body-based wisdom that we actually want to access. And if you've been coming to our pregnancy yoga classes, then you know there's a fair bit of repetition as we're getting movements into the body to undo patterns that would hold you in such a way that other things I'm going to talk about in a minute wouldn't happen. So one thing is that if you've been preparing with your head, you've been reading the books, you've been going to other things and you feel you've got it covered, let's just check in with this body-based wisdom, because two things that are really, really important for a birth to go well, and this is the second reason to consider, is that you want, first of all, mum to be able to enter into a relaxed state before she goes into labour. So labour, we go into relaxed, without anxiety, without fear. And the second thing is that the baby is an optimal position for the birth. So I know many of you have hopefully been going along to natal hypnotherapy or hypnobirthing classes, or maybe you've got a CD you've been listening to, and that is great. And that will help to relax you and also support babies to end up in more optimal positions, but it's not going to guarantee it. We all have different bodies, we have different pelvises, different shapes, and what one woman will find useful in her partner in a birth prep will be different to another, depending on her pelvis shape, depending on her build, depending on her partner's build, and the strength you have between you, the flexibility you have between you. So the birth prep is really there to support you, one, to clear up any fears you still have about going into labour and about what happens and how you'll know and how you'll deal with the pain or the pressure. And the other thing is that obviously we're looking at how we can help your baby really move into an optimal position and what little tricks you can do that are going to help that to happen. So that's the second reason for coming along. It's moving out of this head knowledge into body-based wisdom and really being able to understand what is right for your anatomy to help your baby to enter into the pelvis in an optimal way. The third thing that I wanted to mention is that this is an opportunity for you to be able to put together everything you've been learning in your pregnancy yoga classes, and I really hope you've been coming. If you haven't, still come to the birth prep, but the more pregnancy yoga classes you can get in, the better, because the pregnancy yoga just really helps you to learn better alignment, to learn how to sit, to learn how to carry yourself, to help your baby into an optimal position for your body. But also it's kind of been planting the seeds that we then take further in the birth prep. So we take out all of the things that you have been doing in the pregnancy class that are relevant to the birth, and we put them in order, so in stages, so pre-labour, early first stage labour, later first stage labour, transition, second stage, which is the pushing stage, and then the third stage, which is the delivery of the placenta, and then immediate postpartum healing for mum and baby and dad and partner. So, this is really important to be able to put things in a sequence and to understand what's relevant from the class in terms of the labour, rather than what's just helpful during the pregnancy to help you stretch out and feel better as your baby is growing. Fourth thing is, obviously, your partners haven't been coming every week to the pregnancy yoga classes. They may have come to the odd partner class and they may have met me there, but essentially, often our partners believe that in labour we're going to be able to tell them what to do, how to do things and what we like and what's going to work for us, and they'll just take instruction and they'll listen to the professionals and they'll listen to you and everything will be fine. And actually labour is not a talking experience. It's one where you are going to need to know that your partner understands what you like, what you don't like, which positions really work for you, which massage techniques are going to be useful during the actual contractions and which are going to be useful in between, how you can use methods to support your baby to change position during labour if it seems as though things are not going according to plan, using Rebozo to be able to take the pressure off the back as you're waiting for the pool to be filled or as you're waiting to enter into transition, what alternatives there are to actually having the usual pain relief, excuse me, and actually why it is that you really may well not need it, and getting to the point where we can help partners not want to take the pain away out of love, but actually understand that the pain or the pressure has a function. And when they understand that, and they understand the physiology behind helping a baby to actually move out with grace and ease, they are much more on board in terms of supporting you to have a voice during labour, making sure that your birth plan gets seen by the professionals, that the birth professionals that are there, and also knowing when to challenge what might be suggested, because that's just a normal routine procedure or a protocol that they follow in the hospital, but it's not necessarily right for you, your partner and your baby. So it's about your partner really understanding what the role of a supporter in labour is, and how to use their strength to support your strength, how to help you to move through whatever blocks are likely to come about, depending on you and how you're feeling about the birth. And it gives you this opportunity, and I do ask anybody who actually comes along to the birth prep to really find out as much as they can about their own birth and their partner's birth, and to ask their parents not to sugarcoat the truth, because we want to know what happened. We want to know what trauma may be there in our cellular memory, because we all experience our birth even if we don't remember it. It's lodged in the back of our brains, and of course when we enter into a similar experience, which would be our own children being born, it can trigger our own experience of birth and the memory of that birth, and it can mean that we can go into fear without expecting to, or we can express unexpected tension that if we know this is likely to happen, we have management techniques for being able to overcome that. So we're really working with the partners as well to help them to understand being relaxed and what it means to be present in labour, and how to help you through each stage of labour without them needing to feel like they're a spare wheel. So always, whoever comes along with their partner, and we always invite the partners, and it is usually the partners that come, so please partner, do come, because when a woman comes on her own, she comes home to try and teach you everything, it's quite different, okay? When you come, you get it all straight away, and you can ask me any questions at all. I have a background both as a birth professional in terms of being a doula. I am a teacher trainer for Birthlight, and both Charmaine and I are Birthlight pregnancy yoga teachers, so I teach fertility, pregnancy, birth, methods that I actually train obstetricians and doulas and midwives in during labour to help better birth outcomes, and postnatal healing, postnatal recovery, working with babies and their early needs to help them to recover from the birth. So I have a lot of experience, and I worked for years with Croydon University Hospital. I was first of all a user rep on behalf of Enjoy for the Maternity Services Liaison Committee, and later I was chairing the committee. And in the time that we were involved with this hospital, it went from being one of the worst performing maternity units to one of the best in the country, and we definitely had a hand in that, in the way that we made sure that the stories that women were having, the experiences they were having in the hospital, were heard. And as a result, lots of wonderful things have happened. So, you are going to be learning things in the birth prep that you're not going to learn from the hospital birth prep. You're not going to learn from NCT or from other private parent craft classes. It's body-based wisdom, and this is what is so essential and what is missing from our current preparation. So we prepare our heads, we think we're ready, but we really need to bring into harmony our head, our heart and our womb, and we really need to be able to trust our body to deliver. So I think I've got all of the points, but that's it. Yeah, it's easy to sort of tick things off the list and consider that, okay, I've done this, I've read this book, I've done this training, I've gone to the pregnancy classes, I'm ready. But actually we're still blocking how we really feel about the birth. And the birth prep is a really safe and nurturing environment for you to be able to find out everything you need to about labour, and how you can actually support it to go well, and how you can minimise the interventions, what interventions are routine, what are ones that you can actually contest. You can contest just about everything. And then how to go about doing that, okay? And I've seen firsthand by attending births how what you learn in the birth prep actually gets used during the labour, and it is really super effective. So that's the last one. It's suitable for all birth outcomes. So whether you are considering giving birth at home or in a birth centre or in a labour ward, it is really, really helpful. Even if you are going to be going for a planned induction, The whole point of this, even if you're considering a planned caesarean, I would invite you to come along, because often we have planned caesareans out of fear, we feel it's the only choice, and more often than not there are other options. So you really get a chance to see everything that's available to you, and you may well find that as a result of coming that you change your mind. We often have couples go from sort of thinking about a labour ward birth to a birth centre birth, or people who have been thinking about a home birth being more confident to pursue that. So the next one is going to be this Sunday. I believe it's 3:30 to 7:30. Please do book on as quickly as you can. We tend to run them once a month, but sometimes they're every 2 months. And it's always a good idea to book into the one before your last chance. So I like to have women there ideally around 34, 35 weeks. They can come at 32, they can come at 38, you can even come at 40 weeks, you can come when you're in labour. The important thing is to come, because what you will learn will really support you and help you make the difference between giving it your best shot and hoping it'll be okay, and knowing you've done everything you possibly can to support a labour to go well. And if it didn't go the way you wanted it to, there's that part of you that just knows it's okay. I did everything I could. I gave it my best. This was just the way it needed to be. It helps your baby to feel safe. It helps you to feel safe, and that really does support better birth outcomes. So I hope to see you there, and I will look forward to sharing with you many stories and many experiences to support you to feel confident about going into labour and feeling good about it. Lots of love. Take care. Namaste.